All right, welcome to Monday Meetings. This is Rooney Calmira, and I am from Island Wealth. And on every Monday, we bring you the Monday project meetings. As you know, we have been working on a project, and this is the project where we have been working on. And if you want to know more about this project, if you want to do exactly what we're doing here, you can go to bit.ly/Monday-meetings, and then you will be able to get a free account of this system. This is a project management work operating system, and today we're going to use it as a tool to map the flow of containers from Shanghai to USA to Curacao, St. Martin. What is this system about? I've been using this system for already, I think, about 10 years. And when you use this link, you will help support the show. You will help support the show. It will not cost you anything. But if after 1 week you decide to continue, then, only then, you will pay a small fee. And then we will receive a small commission for that. What is this? What I've been talking about, bit.ly/Mondays-senior-project managers. This is especially for senior project managers that have a huge portfolio of projects. Imagine you have 5, 10 projects, you have 15 or more people. Then you can actually scan this code, and when you scan this code, you will be able to go to this. Let me see. You will be able to go to this small online form, and if you have more than 15 people, if you are starting with a project, you can just book a meeting with me. And in that meeting, we're going to do exactly like we're doing today. We're going to map your process and automate that process. So that's for just the things that we're going to do today. Let me take these things out. As you know, we have been checking actually. Let me take away that beautiful music in there, out of there, and go back to this screen. As you know, we have been looking at let me see. We have been looking at how to create a macroeconomic model. How to create a macroeconomic model for the island of Curacao, St. Martin, but it is a macroeconomic model of the whole United States economy. And why would you want to create a macroeconomic model for the United States economy? Because you are actually using the United States as a main source for your Caribbean economy, okay? So when you have this source of the Caribbean economy, then what you basically will see is that what is happening in the United States, what is happening in actually China is going to affect you. It's going to affect you. And why does it affect you? Because if a container gets taxed in United States with 125%, it will affect you in the Caribbean. If you're living on a Caribbean island, you will get more higher container costs. Everything will be more expensive. So let me try to get back to my sheet. And this is basically a chat that I'm having with ChatGPT. If you don't know, I am also working with ChatGPT, and I name my ChatGPT Ava. And today we're going to show you exactly what Ava can do, because we're going to study the container movement from Shanghai to Ava. So let me just say, hi Ava. And Ava is actually my my artificial intelligence assistant. I just gave her a name, and I'm going to ask her about something. Can you provide me, provide me with a flow of a container from Shanghai to USA to the Caribbean island of Saint Martin. So that's a step-by-step container movement, you see? So she's already talking. I'm calling her she because I don't consider it as a it. It is an it, of course, but I am working with Ava as if she was my direct report of Island Wealth. So you see already I prompted this artificially intelligent agent, and I've been working with her, and now I'm giving her a question. So first of it, what she says is, factory in Shanghai, goods are produced and packed, FOB, free on board, then Shanghai port, export port, container is loaded into the Trans-Pacific cargo vessel, so there is a cargo vessel, 15 to 20 days, then US port of entry, so we already getting here a couple of ideas about this process, this workflow. And why do I want this workflow? I want this workflow because I want to map this whole workflow in my Monday work operating system. As what you have seen so far is that we have just only used Monday operating system as a project management tool to manage the project, for instance, of building a United States macroeconomic model. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look at past episodes on Monday on Island Wealth. And then you will see how we have been building this project. And the project is to construct a macroeconomic model and to have a 16-week experience with this macroeconomic model. But you see already one of the main things that you can analyze with the macroeconomic model of the United States is the trade war, basically, between United States and China. So you see here that it's going to affect container. So port of entry, it's going to United States, port of exit. So before it moves there, let me just show you what we have in store regarding the United States model that we are building. So I'm going back here, and I'm showing you let's go back to the spreadsheet. So whenever we have here U.S. port of entry, then we have a U.S. port of exit, and port of St. Martin. So when we go to St. Martin, it will be a container arrives at the local port, handled by the custom brokers, local duties, taxes, goods and services. So these are key takeaways. Now, so the next question I want to ask is, can you elaborate if we don't use United States, but we use direct imports from China? So can you show me the flow when we import, in the Caribbean, Curacao or St. Martin, and this applies for every main island in the Caribbean. Can you show me when the Caribbean, when we in the Caribbean, Curacao or St. Martin, import directly from China, bypassing USA? Is that possible? So I want to know what happens if we do not use the United States as a Caribbean anymore, but we go directly from China. Is it possible? So what she's saying is the container, so it's absolutely possible to import containers directly from China to the Caribbean, like Curacao and Martin, although it requires more planning and usually larger shipment volumes to be cost effective. So basically what she's saying is that if you import directly from United States, probably there is a lot of volume going through, so the cost will be lower because the containers will be more loaded, the ships will be more loaded. And if you import directly from the Caribbean, probably the shipment will be less because the Caribbean has a much lower population than the United States. The United States has, I think, 230 million plus population, and the Caribbean has like maybe 30 million total. I have to check that lately. So probably the shipments will be less, so the cost will be higher. So what she's saying is, factory in Shanghai, in China, you negotiate directly with the manufacturer, and free overboard, and then port of Shanghai, export terminal, transshipment port, hub transfer. Since Caribbean is not always a direct route, your container will transship at a global hub. So there is a global hub, and then Colón, Panama, Kingston, Jamaica, Freeport, Bahamas, Port of Lisas. So it goes through a hub, and then it comes to Willemstad, St. Martin, Philipsburg. Okay, so great. So what is this? The benefit of direct importing: lower cost per unit, more control, customization. Okay, the challenges are you must handle customs, freight, etc. Okay, so now I want to ask, what are the stakeholders involved? Can you list the stakeholders, companies, or government institutions in this workflow from China to USA? So the reason is, I want to give her some context. The reason is we importers on Curacao wants to talk with the whole value chain. All participants need to be invited. So that's what I'm prompting her, because now I want to see the perspective on, give me all the companies. Give me all the companies. So now what she's doing is manufacturers, exporters, that's the role of the manufacturer. So she's giving me already the role of the manufacturers. Then Chinese freight forwarders, Port Authority China, Customs, Ocean, China to USA, stakeholder type, shipping line, logistics, USA, transit distribution hub, stakeholder, Port Authority, Customs, USA. So there are many, many, many parties involved. And then Curacao, Port Authority, Curacao, Customs, Curacao, local freight, chamber, association, and importers. Okay, great. So they are showing me policy and oversight institutions to consider. Good. So this gives me an idea about these things. So now I want to do another thing. Is I want to talk about Latin America. So can you give me an indication of how Curacao / Saint Martin can trade containers with Latin America? How is the flow, the container flow, if Curacao / Saint Martin directs its imports from Latin America instead of the USA? So what I'm asking now is, imagine there are a lot of tariffs and certain importers on Curacao and St. Martin decide to move away from United States. And then later on, of course, I will ask her what type of products are produced in Latin America that are also produced in USA, and what type of products are produced in China but also produced in Latin America. So give me a kind of a matrix between the product types so that I have an idea. Why do I need that? I need that so I can understand what kind of products containers can hold. So that's another question. And after this, we will just start mapping it. So probably it's already using a lot of tokens right now, but I'm going to do retry. If there is a network connection, you just need to do that. So certainly, really, if Curacao St. Martin chooses import containers directly from Latin America, the logistics chain become more regional, potentially faster. Now that's great. Some cases less costly, that's great. Especially for goods produced in Colombia, Panama, Brazil, and Dominican Republic. Now, if we go through Brazil, we are already in the BRICS. So we are in the Caribbean, we divert our products, and we move to Brazil. So that's basically Caribbean to BRICS trade. And as you know, I've been talking about BRICS on other episodes, not on Monday, because on Monday I focus on Monday project meetings. But during my show, Island Wealth, I've been talking extensively about the BRICS. I've been analyzing the BRICS, and one of the reasons why I'm showing the macroeconomic model of United States, and remember the macroeconomic model of United States, you can participate. Let me just show you again that link that you need to click. So I'm going back here, and I'm showing you the link. So what we're seeing here is we are getting a complete overview of this flow. Country Colombia, and the flow is basically Panama, Brazil. Okay. Flow of container is factory, Latin America, inland transportation. That's interesting. Inland transportation to export port. So if you are in the middle of Colombia, you need to go to the inland port of export, and then departure port, Cartagena, Colón, Santos. We have to check all these things, of course, because sometimes ChatGPT is hallucinating. Transshipment, if required, Kingston, Jamaica, Freeport, Puerto Rico, arrival in Curacao. Okay, so it goes a little bit more complex, but we already have the flow of the goods and the containers. Now, so again, let me just show you. Let me show you now with the meetings. I'm going to show you again what is happening here. And this is now me with some text. This is beautiful Curacao. You can join the VIP launch to be a founder of the US macro investment model. And it's a 16-week experience. We're going live. You don't have to pay anything. It's just clicking in this link, and then you will soon see the QR code. You scan, you get into the VIP launch, and then you will be notified as soon as the experience, the trip of 16 weeks start. And this trip is not only about building a model, but it's about using the macro model. What if this happens? What if Mr. Trump continues with its tariffs? What if we use this, what we have been building today, these new routes? What if we do that? What will be the costs, the inflation, the prices in the Curacao, St. Martin? And this is also possible for 12 other islands, all 8 islands in the Caribbean region, Eastern Caribbean, Jamaica, Turks and Caicos. We have macroeconomic models of those islands. And to give you some perspective, we are focusing on island wealth, and we are focusing on the United States because the United States economy is very, very important. And there is something going on between the United States and China. China is rising. United States economy with the dollar reserve status is going basically, it's an indebted economy and is going down. It's not only me saying that. There are many, many economists studying this. And that is what is happening. And that's why you see the trade wars right now. So that is the link you need to go. So let me go now back to this screen where we're going to use this system to map it. And we will not do all this mapping today. We will not do all this mapping today. But what we will do is we will take parts of what we have been seeing, which is in ChatGPT, and we will move that to here. And we will be checking and mapping this a little bit about the flows with our system. And why do we want to map that? Let me just talk to you. So if you have a system, imagine you have a system, and in that system you just want to see, you ordered a container and you want to know where is that container. So you know that container is in Shanghai, and now you want to know where is that container in the next step. Where is that container in the next step till it comes to Curacao or St. Martin? And remember, Curacao and St. Martin are just locations. It could be anywhere in the Caribbean because we already see the transportation. So imagine the first thing you want to know is you want to know how many containers or how many containers are where. And it's just a system to show you how you can map a workflow. Next week, we will be building upon this system. And this is especially to show you how you can take a process, and we have looked at the process. The process is just the steps and the workflow. And the second part of the process is who are involved. So who are the big players, the companies. And just like this, you can be mapping a whole workflow of a container, but you can be mapping a workflow of products in your company. You can be mapping the workflow of IT systems, because first you design the IT system, then you might test it internally, then you have a user-accepted testing, then you might go live. Those are workflows. So now we are mapping the workflow of a container. And it can just start like somebody puts a container into an online form. Like we have seen already, there are online forms in the Monday workflow system. And then you can have the dashboards of how many containers. You can know exactly where the containers are. You can know exactly at what stage are the containers. You can know exactly what is the content value of the containers. Everything you can put into the system. So what I wanted to show to you is that Monday is not only a project management system, it is a work operating system. And that's why you want to have this system, bit.ly/Monday meetings. You can get your system, remember. Second thing, scan it in there. If you are a project manager with 15 or more team members, projects, bit.ly, and only if you are a project manager with starting to map your process, your own process, like you are mapping it today. And if you are, you have 15 or more people, then you can book a you can book a call in my calendar, and then we will for free discuss your process. And then if we match, if we both suit, if it is okay, if you have a project complex enough, then I will map it, and then the second week I will show you online how it works, and then we can work with each other through a pilot where we are going to go live with that project in a pilot phase. So, you know already, fill in this form if you are 15 or more people in your company with a complex process. You can be a government institution, you can be a ministry, you can be a manufacturing business, you can be an importer, anything. So let me just start by giving you a clean state, which is I want now this Monday to be there to show you. So this is our project. But now imagine we have these phases: design, test, implement. This is a workflow, right? Because this is a workflow of the macroeconomic model. Of all the items through the macroeconomic model needs first to be designed, then they need to be tested. The items can be the database, the system, the simulation system, the graphs, the dashboards. Everything needs to be designed. Then it needs to be tested. I'm going to test the whole macroeconomic model of the United States for you before we're going to do it live. We're going to test it during 16 weeks, and that's why for only 50 people, it will be available to found this whole experience. And founding it means that you can tweak it. You are designing it. It's your questions that we are going to address. It's not one-on-one.
Busca-me se te amam, pode amanhã atenção. Busca-me se tenta, você em tentação. Dos que tá puxando pra tu nem controlar o bom. Se eu quero deixar nada cata sem vão. Tá provou, mas depois improvou. E sabor que tem gosto mesmo que me deu. Que popô e que biquíni que me deu. Tipo swim, mami que se me gosta na boa.
So that was the music, and it was a music of something beautiful, which is kizomba. And now we're going back, isn't it? So that was an introduction. I'm working with kizomba right now, and I'm working with many people with creating music also, and it's a hobby. And now I'm going back to this. I'm going back to show you the project. So imagine we have this project, right? And now we want to not have these design things, these post live, etc. We want to have a new project. So what we're going to do is we're going to say no. Let me see. We're going to say new project. No, we're going to say actually, I'm going to add an item. So we're going back to this workflow, which is Monday meetings. And I'm going to add a totally new board. So when you add a new board, it's going to ask you, what is the name of this board? And then I'm going to say, this is the container movement process. Basically Shanghai to Curacao. Let's call it Sinmart. This is the process. And then what is going to be, it's going to be items. It can be project. It can, let's move it to items. Create. So you already know that this is the general process, and these are the steps. So I can very quickly start by looking at my ChatGPT, and I can say, let's map the flow from China to USA and to Caribbean. Okay, so that's the first flow, and then later on we will move and create a flow from Latin America, etc. So probably factory in China. So probably one of the things to check, factory in China, and go to, we move to this, and we're saying, this is the first one, factory Shanghai, China. The second step is we move from Birimi, we move from port of Shanghai, and we move back to the second step. You see how we are mapping? We're mapping that whole process now. Normally, during a call, during a discovery call with you, if you are 15 or more project members, project team members, and it could be 15 or more employees in your company, it could be, we are mapping this whole process. Then I would draw it also. But now we are not going to draw it, we are just going to move it. So the next step is the step number 3. You see here, I'm getting this copy. So what are these? These are just steps in a workflow. Steps in a workflow. And we are just putting those steps in there. We are mapping the whole process, right? We are mapping the whole process step by step, and we are mapping this into the system, the Monday system. And you will see why. We are discussing this. We're discussing this. And it is not, it's just the beginning. This is just the beginning to map it. It's not only putting these things in here, but a lot of things are possible once you start doing this. So this is the flow. You see that? This is the flow of where the containers are in. where the containers are. Basically, these are the 5 steps. How can you do that? You have seen here that you have already maximized. It's not Excel spreadsheet, but this is just a workflow system. And like you saw before, you can now be mapping items, because I want to move to the next step, and I want to say, what does a container contain? What items do I need to get from a container? Okay? Because if my container is in here, then the container will just be here like container 1. Container 1. If I order that container on I ordered that container in April, 15 or April, then that container is now there. You see here? Imagine there is a container there. 2. Of course, you will identify the container differently, and there is a container there. 3. Imagine there is a container around here. There is a container, and the container is completely, let me see here. There is one container here. Container 4. There is one container here. 5. So imagine you have these containers, and there is one container here. Oh, there are actually 2 containers here. So this is container 6, and this is container 7. Now imagine, just to finalize this, that from each container we need to have some indicators. So I need to have a status in there. And we will say this container, from who is this container? This is country or island of destination. And then imagine this container can be, we can set up this container to edit these labels, and this is basically, I would say, no, let's put the island of destination in another column, but this is let me change this. This is just the status, or the port of destination. So imagine this is port of destination, and this port, we have the couple of things that we can say. We can say this is St. Martin, edit labels, and we say this is St. Martin, and this is Curacao. Apply. So now we can choose, this container is directed for St. Martin. This one is for Curacao. This one is for St. Martin. This is St. Martin. This is for, this container there is for you say Curacao, Curacao. So you already start labeling the containers. So there could be many, many, many fields in here. We could ask a location. You see here, if you put a location in there, the location field will just be something you can put in. Because if you put a location in, you say Willemstad, Curacao. Now you have this location, and this is a location you can put on a map, because this is a location field. This is, of course, Philip's work. Let me put St. Martin. And this is Curacao, Willemstad. So you can add you can start, okay. Now let's add the value of the container. So I can add a thing and that is a number. And then I just call this thing value. Container value. So now I can be putting this container is let's say 100,000. This container is 500,000. Just playing with the numbers. This container is $75,000. You see here? So we are playing with this container system, and now we can create a dashboard. The next step is to create a dashboard with these containers. So we can add many values to the right. Look at the columns, all these columns. We can even add a column that is an input for AI. So based on that figure of the AI, that based on the text, the AI will look at the text and will categorize the container for me. Maybe there are some complaints of this container. Maybe there are critical parts in this container. That is what we're going to do here. So what is the benefit of this? You see already that the benefit of this is that we now, within half an hour, we have mapped containers, a workflow of container movement. We have mapped it in a system. We have grip upon it. It's not in a spreadsheet, it is in our system. Just like we are managing projects, now we are managing the workflow of this container. Now, imagine that you have, the next step is you have to create an online form for this container system. How are you going to do that? Normally, you would hire me or hire software development or hire somebody to implement this system for you, to set up a website, maybe a WordPress site. Maybe you import, you hire some software developers that need to host something and everything. Takes too much money. Now, in a pilot phase, you want to experiment with this. And what would you do then is, look at this, how simple. So what we're going to create is we are going to add a view, and the view is just basically a form. Boom. And this form is what we have here. And this form needs to just be this name, status, data, port of destination. If somebody clicks on this, you can give this link to anybody. You can share this form. You can edit this form, make it better, put your logo in there. If somebody is filling in this form, St. Martin, location. You need a location. You need to say San Juan. Okay, it's going to San Juan, Puerto Rico. Yes. Continue value. Okay, this is like 800,000. You put this thing in, and you put a status. We have not defined the status. You say this is container special filled in through form. So this is how we are working. Submit this thing. And when you submit it, what do you think is going to happen? When you submit it, it's going to say thank you. So somebody in China now filled in the form, and right away in your system, the container will show up. Look at this. This is our container. This is our container. We can add sub things to the container, but this container entered in there right into your system. So here you see how the Monday work operating system is basically now a system that connects all the people, all the companies together with each other. You have one system. Of course, there are many, many other systems with containers, etc. But if you want to set up a system to understand your workflow, to train your people, to understand what is happening if you're setting up a system now with importers in Colombia, Mexico, you want to divert. How are you going to do that in this crazy world? Are you going to invest in a system that needs to be built on servers coming from China? Or are you going to use an online system that is secure, that you can set up within a month, and that you can automate your whole workflow and you can start delivering containers? Are you going to do that? Because you can have the container person, company in Colombia also access this system. You can have the people at the harbor access this system, and you can be working. This system is going to is used by 10,000s of businesses all over the world, and they are not only mapping online project management systems and projects and programs, but they are also using it. So if you are a small island and you want to work with me and you have a complex system, bit.ly/Monday-senior project managers. Scan this, get into this list, tell me that you are 50 more people, that you are of a fresh project, and the project can be a workflow management, and then we can see if we can work together to design your system. Okay, so I'm going to show you again what is happening with the USA, because this USA is basically a great journey, because the next 4 years, it's going to be very important to understand how the economy of the United States works. If you are working in the United States, in the Caribbean, if you have a person, a policy department, a government, if you are a labor union, if you care about island wealth, scan that code and get into the VIP launch for free of the experience. It's going to be a 16-week experience, and it's going to be a founder edition. That means that you are going to create this experience. And what is this experience about? Understanding the economy of the United States, running scenarios, running the data, understanding what's happening with the BRICS, how the trade between the United States and the BRICS and China is going, how it affects the Caribbean. We're going to be very excited. So bit.ly/USA-macro-investment-model. So that is it for me today. And I'm going now to my outro. That means that I'm going to end this meeting for you. And I hope you found it valuable. So we mapped a whole system. We started with ChatGPT. Thank you very much to my assistant, which is working with me day and night. I also program it. This is the system that we worked on. We mapped the whole value chain of Shanghai to Curacao. We mapped it only if we go from China to Curacao, not through the United States and St. Martin. We map it if we would go from Colombia to Curacao. And then, of course, I'm going to create this system, built upon it, and help my other Caribbean islands that I advise with this information. So that is what we did today. And this was another episode of Island Wealth. We are here for your wealth. We are here to help you. And you have seen Monday project meetings. This is the strategic Monday meetings that we want Caribbean islands, policymakers, captains of industries, small businesses, online businesses that we want you to follow. We're going to head into project management, work operating systems, and you have seen a flow here, so don't forget to apply for a meeting with me where we discuss your workflow. It only applies if you are 15 or more people in your project. So your company needs to have 15 or more people that are going to work on this project. I have to limit my time for the businesses that have or organizations that have more people. It could be a government, you could be a policy department or a whole department, government department with 15 people. You want all your staff to understand this. Maybe you are Dominica, maybe you are St. Kitts of Nevis, maybe you are St. Lucia, maybe you are Turks and Caicos, maybe you are Jamaica. You are a government department and you want to automate your workflow. You want to understand this. Maybe you have another workflow for investment, for foreign direct investments, for exporting to your through your country. That is what we're doing here. We are here for Island Wealth. So thank you very much. And this is Island Wealth, Rooney Calmera. If you have anything, if you have missed this episode, just click below and then ask me your questions. Maybe in the next Monday meeting, I will address your question. Thank you very much.